cracking with you people?
We are back.
Ananti here, and welcome back to another episode of Silver Screening. We just got done watching Pirates of the Caribbean, Curse of the Black Pearl.
Yes.
It was, what year did this movie come out again?
Ooh, that was like 2005?
Oh, 2005, yeah.
Yeah, 2005.
Yeah, well, 2005, and it was a movie, much like Eddie Murphy's Haunted House, based off a Disney World theme ride.
Yeah, which I didn't know.
It was, I think the actual theme ride was like no more than 15 minutes long. It was, for those of you guys who don't know, if you go down to Disney World or Universal, I believe in Paramount and Potterworld. Potterworld, what it's called?
Yeah.
Potterworld's West. I think the World of Wizarding is the actual one. That's the theme park.
Right.
It's a hybrid stage play / theme park ride. I've never been on it personally because I've never been to Disney World.
I did. It's incredible.
Okay. So X has a little bit more. He has a lot more experience in that department than I have. The only one I've been on was on Universal. They had a kind of like Indiana Jones-esque one.
Oh, I knew what you're talking about.
And I went on, and we went on it twice. The second time, for some reason, the power tech special effects didn't go off. The first time we did, it was a fantastic experience.
Okay.
But it's basically how these theme rides is that, I believe, I won't say Disney or these rides, you guys are on like a, kind of like automated thing.
Yeah.
There's a kind of like a tram or something like that.
Gotcha, yeah.
And it's like a 15-minute thing where you have actual actors playing out skits as the ride goes through.
Oh, interesting.
So this 2.5-hour movie is basically a 15-minute ride.
Yeah, that's just mind blowing to me.
And all these years later, it still holds up.
No, it really does. Just having an amazing cast, having great location, having great dialogue, great humor, action, and incredible fight scenes, sword fighting scenes. Man, it's just incredible watching Johnny Depp as always do his thing, and then watching Orlando Bloom, Keira Knightley, Jeffrey Rush, especially Jeffrey Rush playing as
Barbossa.
Barbossa. Thank you so much.
So before we get too deep into this, I want to let you guys know right now, after we got done watching everything, and while we were watching the movie, we both kind of had a long week.
Oh yeah.
And I decided to have a couple of things to drink. So I'm a little bit tipsy right now. So if y'all hear me be a little bit more blunt than usual, that's why.
Exactly.
But going off what X said, yes, watching all these actors do their thing is fantastic because you can tell there is a genuine joy in what they're doing. There is a spark of creativity and originality in what they go about doing because there is a lot of world building in this, and there is no wasted time.
No.
Even when there is like goofball moments, and there's a lot of goofball moments. It's actually, I was thinking more comedic than goofball.
Yeah.
Goofball moments is when I would argue is when the story has to stop to tell a joke.
Oh yeah, no, you're right. No, you're correct. Yes, yeah.
Comedic moments are when the jokes happen naturally within the context of the movie,
and then it still go right back into like that either dramatic or serious tone.
Yeah, and one of the big ones is one of the big examples is 20-30-ish minutes into the movie.
Yeah.
The pirates from the pirates attack Port Royal.
Yeah, Port Royal.
And Will, Orlando Bloom's character, he comes out, starts fighting him, and he sees this guy he threw a hatchet at earlier, who supposedly dies. And he comes back, throws a bomb at him, bomb doesn't go off. Will smiles, nothing go off, he hit him, but go off, starts fighting with him. Guy walks behind him, bonk, Will falls out, and just keep it going.
It is like so funny, and again, people may think I'm just exaggerating. No, it was just the timing of it was just you have two pirates like being technically bank robbers, stealing gold and all that, and just all of a sudden just boink hit Will and goes right back into a serious tone,
Yeah.
And with Elizabeth, played by Keira Knightley, being taken away.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is all like 30 minutes, and
Yeah,
it's,
30 minutes in.
it's joke after joke after joke, but it's still a serious tone.
Yes.
It's kind of hard to it's hard to summarize this movie up. And so what I'm going to recommend you do is that if you have Disney Plus, watch Curse of the Black Pearl.
Yes.
That's the first one.
Yes.
If you don't have Disney Plus, try to find it online. I have a DVD copy that I got for $10.
Yeah.
It's $10 well spent. I've seen this movie way too many times. And
Absolutely.
so many times, in fact, that I can basically tell when all the foreshadowing happens. I can tell when
Yeah.
characters are having you can basically tell when a character's like thinking, because a lot of the movie is a straight up mind game.
No,
And
it
the
is.
person playing the game the best is Jack.
Yeah, played by the tremendous Johnny Depp. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, Johnny Depp did a fantastic job bringing his character to life. With all the small details he put into the character
Yeah.
to make it seem more real. Like for instance, everybody knows Jack's famous walk, right? What you don't realize, and once again, I won't say this is a conscious decision that Johnny Depp made. When Jack walks, he always walks with a sway in his step. He never walks straight. He kind of staggers from left to right, and he kind of like leaning back to brace himself. If you notice, later on in the movie, he talks about how a ship is freedom, how being a pirate is your ability to basically do whatever you want with no one looking over your shoulder. It's not until he makes that statement till you realize that what he's been doing, he's not constantly drunk. Not at all. What it is that he is so used to and prefers so much life on the open ocean that he has gotten used to walking on rocking ships, walking on unstable ground. So when he's actually on land,
Yeah, it's uncomfortable.
he is uncomfortable, and he has to walk that way in order for him to feel at home. Because if you notice, when he's on a boat, he actually walks perfectly fine.
Yeah,
But when he's on solid ground,
it's uncomfortable.
that's when the walk comes
And
out.
and see what's funny you said, because like years ago when I first watched this, I thought he was that walk. I thought he was joking because he was drunk.
Yeah.
But when you explain it to me now, I was like, oh, that makes perfect sense. Because every time too, if you notice too, whenever he talks to anybody, as far as with being a pirate and being on the ship, he is passionate about it.
Yeah.
He is passionate about it. And every time you see him be on land, like you just said, you can tell you can tell in his facial expression and especially his body language, he does not like being on land. He hates it.
Yeah.
He hates it unless it is necessary.
Yeah. Unless it's for an explicit purpose, he'd rather be on a ship.
Yeah.
And the reason why I said it is that really pay attention to the first movie. How many times has he actually gotten drunk in the movie? How many times have you seen him with a bottle of rum in his hand?
I would say
Twice.
Yeah, twice in the first one. The other ones probably once.
Probably, and I would argue, I don't remember at World's End very well. And
No.
we'll get to that when we get to that.
Yeah.
But at World's End, I want to say he didn't have a bottle at all.
No, he didn't.
And Dead Man Shack, I want to say he maybe had the rate. Maybe.
Yeah, maybe.
I know for a fact one that happened. That basically what incites the entire incident. But once again, jumping too far ahead here.
Yeah.
But yeah, the amount of detail that went into Curse of the Black Pearl is honestly ridiculous. Especially, I want to focus on Jack's character for a little bit here before we jump into the other characters.
Yeah.
So with Jack Sparrow, there is an insane amount of foreshadowing inside this character. So much so that one key detail that they dropped at the big bombshell moment of the movie, he actually lets slip within the first 20 minutes. So when Jack first comes to port, he's riding on a boat that's sinking, right?
Yep.
It says Pirate GB1. He goes, thank you, which basically lets you know he's a pirate. You don't have to worry, he doesn't spell it out. It's basically like, okay, here's a sign saying, yeah, you're a pirate, you will be hanged.
Yep.
And he just goes, thank you. You know, it's like, yeah, he's a pirate. He walks in, hands the guy 3 shillings, like these silver coins. I think it's like he put like $40 nowadays. He just hands it. He's like, hey, here's 3 shillings. He's like, get the thing. Then he walks off, steals a bag full of shillings, which he basically easily makes up the money he lost, and just dips. Talks about knowing of a ship that is fast and not uncatchable and has this ghostly reputation to it, the Black Pearl, and that's your first hint. Like, he knows about the Black Pearl. He knows about this ship that is supposedly, crewed by a man so vile, hell itself spat him out.
Yeah.
As quoted by one of the characters in the movie. He eventually gets captured, and in jail, he makes mention that I know those cannons, and this is when the Black Pearl is actually firing on the Port Royal.
Yeah.
And that was it. Another hint. He knows the cannons. So what you're basically doing is you're basically piecing together that okay, he might have history with this ship.
Yeah.
And one of the characters mentions that no survivors ever leave whenever this ship shows up, and Jack says, "No survivors, huh? Well, where does the stories come from then?"
Exactly.
So it basically implies that either, well, and it's kind of rare because they're basically implying that Jack has survived several accounts or at least one bad encounter with the Black Pearl, but then 2 of the crewmates come down and they see him, and they basically insulting him, jeering at him, that kind of thing, and he makes mention that, hey, make your jokes while you can. The deepest pit of hell is reserved for betrayers and mutineers.
Yep.
He specifically used the word mutineers.
Yep.
Now, if you know anything about your nautical terms, a mutiny, as far as I know, is only when the crew rebels against the captain.
No, that's true. That's true. That's absolutely true.
Now, granted, you can still make the argument that, yes, he knows they betrayed a captain.
Yeah.
But you could arguably make the case that he was not talking about himself.
Yeah.
But he still gave away, what their issue was. Later in the movie, Mr. Gibbs gives it up saying, well, before that, afterwards, Elizabeth's getting kidnapped. Will makes a deal with Jack, and Jack basically tells him that, yeah, I know everything about this ship. It makes birth at an island that cannot be found, save for those who already know where it is. That's another red flag.
Yeah.
How do you know where to find the ship? And then what's the word I'm looking for? And then Mr. Gibbs let slip that Jack was the captain of the Black Pearl, but it doesn't come out of nowhere. It's layered in so well. Like, how else would Jack know this? How else would Jack?
Yep, exactly.
The only mention is that either A, he knows the people on the ship, or B, he once captained the ship. So what I think they're supposed to do, and somehow credit where credit's due, it's still a surprise when Mr. Gibbs said it, even though if you're paying attention, you figured it out earlier.
Yeah, because again, my first time when I first saw it years ago. That moment when Gibbs mentioned to Will about it, that's when I figured it out. But and also the part when he said like he said with the other 2 partners, and then when he said about the mutiny, when he said that, in my mind, and we mentioned we mentioned like I know those sounds years ago when I thought about that. Hold on. Is he part of the crew? That's what my initial thought was. But up to this point this year, when you explain it to us, like, oh, it makes perfect sense when you explain it.
Yeah. And once again, this movie, Curse of the Black Pearl, is why I always maintain that a movie is a mystery novel, not a mystery box.
Yes.
Because if you're doing your job right as a director, as a writer, you are slowly leaving breadcrumbs for the audience to kind of figure it out. So, once again, if you were smart enough to kind of get it, wasn't this is a Disney kids movie.
Yeah.
Kind of like, what was that? PGG? Something like that? Right.
No. I thought it was at least pre-13.
I gotta look it up again at some point. But it was because there's a little bit of blood in here, and somehow they got away with Jack calling Elizabeth a whore.
Yeah, oh no, they did. Oh my God.
Because they use a lot of old time slang, and I believe, if my old slang is right, at one point he calls he's teasing Will about his practicing with sorcery.
Oh yes.
And he calls and he says, "Are you trying to rule a strumpet?"
Yeah.
And I believe strumpet is a polite way of saying a whore.
No, it is. No, it definitely. I was like, what?
I believe so.
Yeah, but the fact they put that in there.
Actually, you know, I have my phone on me right now.
Yeah.
I'll go ahead and look it up.
Yeah. And actually, want to see real quick, was that 313 real fast.
Yeah.
So while he's doing that, I will say this. First, Pirates of the Caribbean: Curse of Black Pearl was rated P-13, and this was actually in 2003.
2003.
Yes.
So around the same time Holt came out.
Yes.
That explains an awful lot about why this movie got made. So, strumpet, noun, dated, humorous, a woman who has many casual sexual encounters or relationships.
God dang.
Archaic, a female prostitute.
Yeah.
Bluntly, a whore. It's not written on that. I put that in there.
Yeah. But,
So yeah, somehow they got away with having Johnny Depp basically imply that Elizabeth is a whore.
I just know for a fact this movie could not have been made this year.
It could not have been made. Not even this year. It could have been made in the last decade.
No, it couldn't.
I would say 2012 was probably the last time a movie like this could have been made.
Yes, I agree with that. I agree with that because there were a lot of like other moments, like especially in the Tortuga scenes. Oh my God.
Oh yeah, no, yeah. They had. I think like the second shot. No, the first time we see like actual Tortuga is this dude drinking beer, like drinking rum out of barrels that have gunshots in them, and it's with like her giant tits just hanging out.
Yeah.
I wasn't hanging out. You know, it's like they're propped up on a platter.
Yeah, yeah.
And she's pouring down more rum from the drink.
Yeah, it was just crazy though.
Oh, fun fact for those of you who are not history buffs. So the two big ports inside this movie are Port Royal, which is where Elizabeth Swann and Will are stationed. It is depicted as this prim and proper place where all the dignified English folk live with their short, well-behaved black slaves. I'm not making that up.
He ain't.
Granted, it's only if you know the subtext. It's not like in your face. It's just, if you know the subtext, you notice it. If you know the subtext, it's just kind of the thing that happens.
Yeah.
But you know, I'm fine with that one. That's I would say that's a little bit more respectable way of doing a PG kind of era for that.
Yeah.
And then Tortuga is depicted as this is the ultimate form. This is where all the ruffians and hoes and all the drunkards and pirates and all the murderers and scallywags hang around. Yeah, so actual real life Port Royal was that.
Yeah, when he told me that, I was like, are you serious?
Yeah, Tortuga, if my memory serves correct, Tortuga was either A, what Port Royal is made out to be, or B, it was bad, but nowhere near as terrible as Port Royal. To my understanding, Port Royal was so bad, I think they actually had to cannonball the thing from a distance.
Wow. Okay, that's bad.
If my memory serves correct, I believe the Spanish? No. I believe the English sent in a couple of ships to try to get it under control. The captain said, fuck it, get the cannons out, we're going to get this under control and control the hard way.
God damn.
I believe that's how bad it was. Feel free to correct me down below, but I'm fairly certain Port Royal was not a paragon of virtue.
Wow. Jesus Christ.
What was the good night again? Alright, so Jack. But no, they layer in that he knows the crew, he knows the Pearl, and he has this obsession with it.
Yeah.
But when they drop the bombshell that he was the captain, it doesn't come out of nowhere.
No, it really doesn't.
Because you can piece it together earlier if you know your vocabulary. So basically, if you're once again, it doesn't talk down to the kids. Like this is one of those movies where it's like, even if you're a kid, but once again, if you look at all the actors, they very clearly know they're in a Disney movie.
Yeah, of course.
But they're still giving it their best.
Yeah. 100%.
But they're not talking down to their audience. So if you know your vocabulary, then you picked out immediately that Jack was the captain of Black Pearl.
Yeah.
And then there's other small things like when once again, like this is a small detail that you can basically can miss it. But when Commodore Norrington or Captain Norrington takes Jack's compass and he's marking how it doesn't point north, if you pay attention, Jack, we find out later that Jack's compass doesn't point north, it points to the thing you want the most.
Yep.
And in the moment when when Norrington is holding the compass, it's pointing directly at Jack.
Cause he wants to kill him so bad.
Yes, he does.
Oh my
He
God.
wants nothing more than to see him hang.
Yes.
And that's once again a small thing with that. And then thing then with Jack and Will's relationship, this is also kind of weird. It's like usually because once again, I'm focusing on Jack. I'm focusing on him because I want to run this point home. Jack's a side character in the first movie.
Yeah, no, and when you said that, it actually made perfect sense. Because the whole entirety of the story is about Will Turner.
Yeah, it's about Will. It's about Will and
Yeah.
Will, and well, to some degree, but it's
Yeah,
basically,
yeah.
but it's mostly about Will.
Yeah, and then like you said, like the side characters are Jack,
Barbosa, Mr. Gibbs.
Yeah, Barbosa, Mr. Gibbs, and Elizabeth.
Yeah.
But and then it's crazy you said, and then in the back of my mind now, I think back to the other ones, and then number 2 was focused on
Jack.
Yeah. Which is very interesting. And like when we said that, like that is, you got a good eye for that. 'Cause I just never saw that years ago.
It's very easy not to see it because Jack steals the show.
Yes, he does.
He steals the show.
Yeah.
But if you really think about it, who's the one who goes to the biggest character change inside this movie?
Yeah.
Who's the one who's on the adventure? Who's the one who is our hero? Will.
Yes.
I was going to say Will Smith there. But no, it's Will Turner is. Jack is basically a drunk Obi-Wan.
Yeah.
But he's not a father figure to Jack, to Will.
Oh,
he's
no.
actually not. If anything, he's more like a playful older brother.
Yeah, either that or just a friend.
Yeah, or the drunk uncle.
Yeah, you're right.
Actually, no, that'd be Mr. Gibbs.
Yeah, oh yeah, no, it would.
Yeah, no, Jack at the most is that playful older brother or a really good friend.
Yeah.
And I want to. The reason I'm going on so long about this is that Jack's character is written so tightly.
Yes.
That it's no surprise that they decided to focus on him with the subsequent sequels. And another thing the final thing I want to hit on with Jack right now is that Jack's character is probably one of the best written characters in cinema.
No,
At least with regards to Curse of the Black Pearl, and I would stretch this as far as say Dead Man's Chest. I don't remember Edward's in very well, so I won't add that in.
I've seen all of them, but no, those 2 are my top 2.
Yeah.
Atwell's, it's excellent to me, but it's not on that level of writing to me as 1 and 2 are. They are solid.
Yes. And when we get around to Dead Man's Chest,
Yeah.
we'll explain why that's the case too.
Yeah.
But with the first one, Jack is not written as invincible.
No.
He's not written as over the top. He's not written as this all-knowing, omnipotent God. The big thing about Jack is that you don't know how much of his survivability, how much of his skill is legitimate skill or just dumb luck.
That is so true.
And we see it early on. It's like the movie where he escapes being captured by Captain Norrington by basically using a rope and pulley system. Basically skidding down. He's never firing a single shot, avoiding capture, all this stuff. But he does end up getting captured at the end due to just Will's interference.
Yeah.
And the reason I bring this is that so often a lot of these movies want to make your protagonist seem invincible, seem larger than life, seem basically infallible.
Yeah.
To the point where you have to have someone of equal or greater skill come get them. But sometimes it's just the plan doesn't go 100% the plan.
You're right.
Like Jack's whole plan was basically get a ship. That didn't go well, so he has to escape and find a way out. That didn't go well. It's not until Will comes by, and arguably that could be an instance of luck. But at the same time, the night beforehand, the hole in the cell wall next to him gets blown open, but he's not being able to fit through that hole.
Yeah.
So you could say that no, it's not dumb luck. And throughout the time we're going back and forth with all these examples of, is Jack this skillful or is it just dumb luck? And there are moments like, no, he is that skillful. Like, no, it's just dumb luck. And one of the big moments where it's like, and this is one we're going to debate here in a second here.
Yeah.
One of the big moments where it's like, this is what really puts it to the test, is that he has this legend about how he's able to just get in and out of any situation without getting into much trouble. And there's a deleted scene Well, I say deleted scene. This is it happens beforehand. They explain how he escaped an island.
Yeah.
Where he's only given a single shot, and the idea was that you get a single shot, you have to kill yourself that shot. He escaped the island, and it's like, yeah, he was out there for weeks and weeks, and then a couple of days, he roped himself some turtles and sailed off. And Will rightly asked, he roped him some sea turtles.
Yep.
What did he use for rope? That one question throws that entire story into question.
Yeah, and then Jack says, my human hair on my back. And I was like, that's genius.
That's genius because, once again, it's so, like, the story itself is already outlandish enough as it is. It's really hard to believe that he used
his
hair.
own human hair.
But then you think about it, there's no way he grew that much hair.
Yeah, exactly.
And it wasn't until Elizabeth and him were starting to Saxon Island that she asked him, are any of the stories about you true? This is where the deleted scene comes into play. So in the deleted scene, Johnny Depp's character rolls up both his sleeves. One sleeve has like this burn on one arm, and the other one has like this long scar up the other. And he shows these two big bullet holes.
Right, they're like huge.
And remember, this is like 1800s, 1700s. So the bullets aren't like bullets; they're like these giant metal golf balls.
Yeah.
Being fired at you. He has two of them
And
in his chest.
And they're deep too.
And he just answers, not a word.
Yeah.
He shows her all the scars and says, not a single one, and walks off. Now that's in the deleted scene. In the actual movie, he just throws his hands up and shrugs, "Welcome to Caribbean, love."
Yeah.
So it's left to us to basically know, wait, so that you did, how do you explain all this stuff you did to get out of these situations?
Yep.
And it's one of the things clever. It's like you have the moment where it's like we see that he is that kid, but he had to get effed up to learn.
Oh yeah, of course.
But then you have in the movie where it's like, no, he's just that good. So it ultimately comes down to your personal preference.
Sure, yeah.
Um,
And and for me, as far as like between the deleted scene and the actual footage that was actually still used in that movie, I feel like, to me, in my opinion, they were both excellent. But I felt like just the original scene that was in there in the movie was fine with me because I felt like the second one was dragging on just a little bit from one, and then the other I had a slight issue where they were going a little bit too much because like they could have used any of those tattoos or scars in the next film to use as a lead into another story.
Yeah.
So that's why I said for me it was really just a little bit too much. Whereas this one, it was like short, simple to the point, had a little bit of humor, and still kept with that little serious tone at the same time.
So let me ask you this question then. Would you want to see a movie, and once again, I don't think the movie can ever be made, but would you want to see a prequel movie where we see the story of how he got those scars?
Hell no.
No?
No, hell no. And the reason why I say...
Well, it is. It's a deleted scene, mind you, but still.
Yeah, but the reason why I say that, it's just like, we've already seen Jack Sparrow enough. I would love to continue his story and not really go backwards because they tried that on another film, another sequel for that one, on Stranger Side, and it wasn't effective. Like, they kept bringing people from his past, and I didn't have the same feel when I was watching the first two.
I think what would happen, because I think they still use Johnny Depp for that.
No, they did, but it's just like what
And they aged him down.
Yeah, no, not aged him down. It's when you're trying to use different actors to play different people. So what I mean is they have Penelope Cruz play his lover from his past, but we don't know anything about her. I mean, like they explain it, but what I mean is no back as far as no visual backstory of them being in love or anything. It's just her, those two going back and forth. Admit, Jack, you love me, blah 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 blah. And I think that to me wasn't very effective.
Well, that sounds more like trying to crowbar in a love story more than actually trying to actually show the relationship.
Yeah, and this is my last thing, and I just feel if they did a prequel just based on his scars, it wouldn't be enough to keep me hooked in.
Yeah, I would say based on his scars. What I will say is a prequel where we see one of his stories.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Like, once again, there's a lot of Legend of Jack Sparrow. Like, there's even a video game.
Yeah.
Based upon Curse of the Black Pearl, where it's called Pirates of the Caribbean: The Legend of Jack Sparrow.
Okay.
And what you're doing is you're playing through the events of Crystal Black Pearl,
Right.
but the idea is that it's an alternate ending. So the game opens up on Will and Jack about to be hanged.
Gotcha. Yeah.
And then Jack basically is trying to hold off
Yes.
the execution so that way I think Elizabeth or somebody can save them. So he's basically telling me the events of the movie, but all of it's bullshit.
Oh God.
And
Wow.
it is honest to God the most entertaining game I've played in my life.
Really?
It's PlayStation 2. Oh my God, it's so amazing.
Okay.
Admittedly, when you play Elizabeth, she's basically just a female Will Turner. But I understand why, because I say that, it's basically her special, like with Will Turner. But Jack is like this over-the-top badass. Then he actually incorporates the roping some sea turtles and riding off to the sunset with him and Elizabeth. It's hilarious.
Wow.
The game ends with the entire crowd, including the guy trying to hang them, breaking down into tears because the movie,
What?
like they're literally crying because like the story is so moving, it's so good, but you're still gonna be hanged.
Oh,
It's actually a really, and I'm not gonna kid you. If you guys are following us on Uncanny Valley, I did manage to find all the cutscenes for that game, and we will be watching it at some point.
Oh, jeez. Right. Oh my.
It's like an hour long, but I promise you, it's worth every second.
Okay.
Game was hard as balls though, but yes.
Wow. Okay.
Lots of large balls. There were sabers where I'm just like, what the actual hell? But it is. But once again, Jack's character. I feel like if they did do a prequel movie, it should only be focused on one
Not
one myth or one story about him that's
Yeah.
so outrageous, but not one that we've heard a hint about.
Yes.
I would say the one where he sacked the Spanish maid or something like that without firing a single shot. That would be interesting to see.
Yeah.
But that's gonna be it for Jack Sparrow for right now.
Yeah.
Moving on to Will Turner. Will's story is actually surprisingly simple by comparison.
No, it is. No, it's very simple. It's very like, you know how like in society there's like the upper class, middle class, low class. In the beginning when he's just a child and everything, you start to uncover and unravel a little bit of who Will is, but not to the full extent.
Yeah.
And then fast forward to like 20 years, and then you see him as a young man as a blacksmith.
Yeah.
Which is very, again, like you said, it's simple. It's simple. He's still in that lower class society, and nobody really everybody knows who Will Turner is, but they don't like him because he's not in the high society, just that middle low class level.
They tolerate him.
Yeah, the
But they don't care what he has to say.
The only person that actually likes him for who he is Elizabeth Turner.
Yeah.
That's the only person that
Swan.
that's my bad. Sorry, Elizabeth Swan. She said, I don't know why I keep.
Because they call herself Turner the entirety of the first movie.
That is true. She
They're
does.
trying to protect Will.
Yeah.
We'll get to Will in a second.
Yeah, but yeah.
But yeah, Will I would say is your basic hero story, your basic hero's journey,
Mhm.
but kind of a nuanced take on it. Because most hero's journey, the hero is this unblemished, unscathed, goody two-shoes.
Yeah.
But we find out early on that Will's dad was a pirate.
Yeah.
This was back in the time where being a pirate, being associated with a pirate, was basically social suicide.
Yeah, it was a major crime,
Um,
and you be put on jeopardy too.
And it's so much so that when Will suggests that they talk to Jack about how to find the Black Pearl and find Elizabeth,
Yep.
they reject it outright
So quickly.
because he's a pirate.
Yes. So,
Despite the fact that he basically lets us that he knows everything there is to know about the Black Pearl.
exactly, and just the fact of him trying to explain this to Commodore Norton,
Yes.
Commodore Norton quickly said, no, it's not out there. We are not going to be getting involved with the pirates.
Yeah.
And Will gets so heated.
Yeah.
He slams that axe into the table, and it goes to the table and the map. Slightly to the line. He says
That's not good enough.
that's not good enough.
Yeah.
I'm like, I felt that
Because at that moment, it's like, because one thing that's very good about the Pirates movies, like the first two anyway, every character wants something,
Yes.
and how they go about getting it is in keeping with the character.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. Because again, like you said, everybody has their own intentions.
Yeah.
Everybody has their own agenda. And this is why I love when Jack Sparrow is in the picture because again, every single time, whether he's talking to Barbossa or Will Turner or Elizabeth, he's honest to a T. But people don't know if he truly is honest.
Yeah.
But we as an audience can tell that he is, that he's telling the truth.
Yeah. And all of it is in purpose of one thing: to get the black.
That's it.
That's all he wants. Will in the first movie just wants Elizabeth.
Yeah.
Norrington just wants Elizabeth.
Yeah.
Elizabeth
Well-
wants Will, but she doesn't. At least I would argue she's not willing to admit it yet.
Oh yes, of course.
Um,
Of course, not ready to admit it.
And then above all else, every single character is learning about what it actually means to be a pirate, as told by this movie. In terms of the real world, being a pirate is something else entirely.
Yeah.
It actually wasn't as glamorous as you would think.
It is not glamorous. Oh my God.
It's a lot more hard work, and there actually wasn't as much pillaging as you think.
But keyword is a lot of work.
Yeah. But at the same time, once again, Will's thing is that, and he bumps into Jack. He lets Jack out, but then Jack lets slip that, yeah, your dad was a pirate, but he was also a good man. And then we get the lesson of the film early on from Jack of all people. He goes, now you listen up, you listen good. This might save your life one day. The world boils down to what a man can do and what a man can't do.
Mm-hmm.
He said, now you can accept that your dad was a pirate and a good man, or you can't. But pirate is in your blood. You have to swear that someday. Now for me, I can let you sink and drown. But I can't bring this ship into Tortuga all by my onesies.
Exactly. Exactly.
And that basically lets you know how Jack operates. There's always an angle. There's always something to get out of it, and depending on what you get out of it, that's where the can and can't do comes from.
Yep. You're right. You're right.
And Elizabeth, she's kind of just along for the ride to the first one.
No, she really is. She is all she is. Because as you have previously told me in the past, where Elizabeth Swann doesn't even fully understand the extent of being a pilot.
No, she doesn't. She still thinks it's all about this code and this. And I would argue a lot of that's due to her upbringing. She has
of course it is.
romantic viewpoint of what it means to be a pirate.
Yeah.
And then Barbossa,
Oh my God.
Jack, Norrington, Mr. Gibbs, all of them have to give her and Will a reality check saying that no, that's not what a pirate is.
No.
There's a lot of loopholes that go into that.
Yeah, and the fact that and the fact that she was really trying to explain certain requests that she wanted, she still did not specify.
Yeah.
And that was just blowing my mind.
It's like Barbossa literally, because she literally said, well, Parlay dictates you should let me off on shore. And Barbossa says, first off, the code of the price of a pirate says you are not a pirate, that I don't have to do anything.
Yeah.
Secondly, you prefer to specify part of the specify that you want to be put back here. And thirdly, there were guidelines and rules. And once again, let you know that the pirate code is really just kind of bullshit.
No, it really is. It really is.
But aside from that, the movie itself is a thrill ride. The fight scenes are great. They're all, and one thing, this is one thing I so miss from movies. The fight scenes being a little bit more embellished, being a little bit more fantastic.
Okay.
Because every single pirate's fight scene from 1 to 3,
Yeah.
the fight is choreographed to the music.
Oh yeah.
Nowadays, the music is choreographed to the fights, and I
Yeah.
think they both suffer in that respect.
Oh, yeah.
For instance, Klaus Benoit. Let me look.
Klaus Benoit.
I want to say Benoit. I have the music on my phone. I can look it up right now.
I've never. I don't think I've heard of Klaus Benoit. I don't think I have.
in my opinion, he's up there with John Williams and Martin O'Donnell
Really?
in terms of like composer wise. He is legitimately that good.
Wow.
Klaus Badelt.
Okay.
Klaus Badelt, that's his name. He's the composer for the Pirates soundtrack. It is up there, but he makes some very solid songs. He's a pirate still, one of my favorites to this day. Is up there with Duel of the Fates in my opinion.
Yeah.
From Star Wars. In case you're wondering, that's when Qui-Gon Jinn and Obi-Wan Kenobi are fighting Darth Maul. That song playing in the background. It's up there with the Halo theme in my opinion. Specifically the Halo 2's Mjolnir mix version. And it's just because he's able to breathe and do his own thing, and the fight choreography is still staged, theater combat, where it is, this, it's overly telegraphed, sure, but it's close and realistic and grounded enough that you can kind of feel the weight of the hits.
Oh yeah, I did.
And they time each strike to each note being played. You can see them playing the music as they're fighting. Nowadays, it's not the case.
You're right about that. Yeah,
Nowadays they have the fight scene slow, swinging, it's more realistic, and then the music's made after that, and it just doesn't feel
right.
It doesn't feel right, but it doesn't enhance the scene. It doesn't.
Yeah.
So I'm just like, why make it then?
For the money, of course.
Obviously for the money, yeah, but it's just one of those things that I just really miss from this era of filmmaking.
I do too.
And I don't think we're gonna be going back.
No.
Not unless somebody wants to come. Not unless it's like this retro hipster thing that comes back later.
Yeah, that's the one that happens.
So yeah, not for a while anyway.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I mean, but otherwise, otherwise it's a fantastic film.
Yeah, it is.
Remarkably solid for a movie made on a 15-minute Disney ride that is so influential that they actually had to change the Disney ride to fit in with the film.
Oh wow.
There was there was a character in the ride. This is what I understand, who was just a regular unnamed pirate, right?
Yeah.
This pirate, who was supposed to be the antagonist of the ride, he ended up being renamed to Barbossa because of how popular Pirates of the Caribbean was. I don't know if Jack Sparrow makes an appearance in the ride, but Barbossa I know for certain does.
Yeah, he actually do it once or twice.
Once or twice? Okay. I know when they do like the amphitheater performances, they do bring Jack Sparrow out for those. But for the actual ride, I wouldn't know. I got to down to Disney one day.
Yeah.
I'll have to kidnap my nephews at least once, or my niece, just have these suits go down there.
No, you're right. No, you're right. You're absolutely right.
But aside from that, really can't say much else. I'm looking forward to seeing the rest of these films. I know
me too. Me too.
1 and 2 are my favorites.
Hands down.
I don't have a lot of strong feelings towards 3. I remember that there were some moments I enjoyed.
Yeah.
But I remember 3 came out right around that time when Hollywood as a entity started losing focus of how to make good films.
No, I get you. Yeah, because I know a few people didn't like it either. For me, I'm just annoyed. I loved it, but again, I'm saying it's not better than the first 2. It is a good adventure. I still love the characters from what I saw in there, but like I said, 1 and 2 are still the best.
I remember way back in the day. This is actually a funny story.
Yeah.
One of my friends, who I haven't talked to in years, I told him that Dead Man's Chest is my favorite one. He's like, really? Like Dead Man's Chest, the worst one? I'm like, wait, what? No, granted, this guy wasn't a movie buff. He was not a movie guy. He was not a movie guy, and we could not have been older than like 14 or 15.
Wow. Okay.
So this was like going on 13 years ago. And I remember thinking like, yeah, I like Dead Man's Chest. I couldn't put my finger on as to why.
Yeah.
It wasn't until I got much older that I understood what Dead Man's Chest was about. Now, when we get around to watching Dead Man's Chest, you'll know my full thoughts on that.
Gotcha.
But yeah, no, Dead Man's Chest. But yeah, no, Dead Man's Chest and Curse of Black Pearl, I would argue are two of the best.
Mm-hmm.
But after Dead Man's Chest, I would argue the quality of the series starts together.
Okay.
And when we get around to doing those two, you'll see what we're talking
Yeah.
about. In the meantime, I think we're going to call it there for today.
Yeah.
I've been a Nazi. This has been X.
Yep.
And we will catch you next week
Yeah.
for Dead Man's Chest.
Yep.
Deuces!
Peace.